In an era driven by instant gratification, constant stimulation, and relentless distraction, the modern man finds himself caught between two worlds, the ancient and the digital. The ancients spoke of inner power, discipline, and divine energy, while today's world screams for indulgence, release, and consumption. Semen retention, once revered as a sacred art in temples, monasteries, and warrior schools, has resurfaced as a forgotten key to restoring masculine strength and mental sovereignty. This ancient wisdom, when applied to modern life, reawakens the primal force buried beneath screens and schedules. In ancient times, sexual energy was never seen as mere pleasure, it was understood as life force. Yogic masters in India called it ojik, the distilled essence of vitality and consciousness. Taoist monks in China named it jing, the foundation of longevity and spiritual clarity. Warriors in Japan, Greece, and Egypt were trained to conserve their seed before battle, believing it fortified courage and heightened awareness. Retention was not repression, it was refinement, the art of transforming raw desire into creative power. The modern man, however, has been conditioned to waste this sacred energy daily, mistaking pleasure for liberation while quietly draining his potential. Today, the constant access to digital desire, pornography, social media validation, endless dating apps has numbed the masculine spirit. Men are praised for indulgence and mocked for restraint. The dopamine rush becomes the new drug, and the seed, once viewed as sacred fuel, becomes disposable. Yet beneath this chaos lies a simple truth: energy never lies. When a man retains his essence, his entire being begins to realign. His voice deepens, his eyes sharpen, and his presence thickens with authority. Women, opportunities, and even destiny itself begin to respond differently, not to his words, but to his vibration. The science behind semen retention bridges ancient intuition with modern understanding. Each drop of semen carries vital nutrients, hormones, and creative energy: zinc, magnesium, testosterone, and neurotransmitters that affect mood and focus. When a man continually releases, his body must work to replenish what's lost, often leaving him tired, anxious, and unfocused. Retention, when practiced with awareness, reverses this drain. The conserved energy reabsorbs into the nervous system, nourishing the brain, sharpening memory, and balancing emotions. This isn't mysticism, it's bioenergetics, a cycle of transformation the ancient sages intuitively mastered long before science could measure it. However, semen retention is not simply about abstinence, it's about transmutation. When energy is not expressed sexually, it must be channeled consciously, or it will stagnate. The modern man must learn to redirect his urge into purpose. Workouts, creative pursuits, career goals, meditation, or spiritual practice. This redirection transforms tension into drive, desire into discipline. The same energy that seeks release can build empires, inspire art, or fuel innovation. Retention becomes a spiritual technology, a bridge between instinct and intention. In relationships, semen retention shifts the dynamic from dependency to depth. When a man no longer seeks validation through physical release, he approaches women with clarity rather than craving. He sees her not as an outlet, but as an equal force of energy. His attraction becomes conscious, not compulsive. This subtle shift awakens respect, authenticity, and a magnetic polarity that deepens connection. Ironically, when he stops chasing, he becomes infinitely more attractive. His composure, calm, and purpose whisper the language of true masculinity, language every woman feels, even if she can't explain it. Yet the path is not without challenges. Retention exposes the shadows hidden beneath pleasure, loneliness, insecurity, unresolved emotion. When a man stops numbing himself through release, he must face his own reflection. This confrontation is the true initiation. The discomfort he feels is not punishment, it is purification. Each temptation becomes a test of power. Each moment of control, a silent victory. Over time, his urges no longer dominate him, he dominates them. He learns that mastery over self is mastery over life. The modern man is surrounded by energy leaks, mindless scrolling, shallow conversations, unhealthy diets, and unaligned relationships. Semen retention teaches him to guard his energy like a warrior guards his sword. Every moment of focus becomes sacred. Every breath becomes fuel for greatness. This awareness extends beyond sexuality, it shapes his entire lifestyle. He eats cleaner, thinks clearer, and acts with purpose. His mornings are built on meditation, not distraction. His nights, on reflection, not indulgence. He becomes the architect of his vibration, the guardian of his inner kingdom. Ancient traditions knew this secret well. In Hindu philosophy, brahmacharya, the discipline of energy conservation, was not meant only for monks, but for any man seeking self-mastery. In Taoist alchemy, sexual energy was cycled through breath and movement to refine vitality into wisdom. In early Christianity, celibate mystics spoke of the fire of purity that illuminated the soul. Across civilizations, the message was the same. The creative force that can give life can also enlighten the mind when directed inward. The modern world, obsessed with external pleasure, has forgotten that inward mastery is the true revolution. The benefits of retention unfold gradually. In the first week, there is restlessness, the body craves its habitual release. By the second, focus sharpens, and dreams intensify. By the third, energy stabilizes. Workouts feel stronger, thoughts become clearer. Beyond a month, subtle charisma begins to form an invisible aura that others sense without understanding. This is the rebirth of masculine magnetism, not from ego, but from alignment. The man who retains does not seek attention. Attention finds him. He becomes a source of gravity in a world of noise. Semen retention is not about suppressing sexuality, it is about mastering it. Sexual energy is divine, creative, and sacred. When it's directed with intention, it fuels spiritual growth rather than draining it. The modern man must unlearn shame and rediscover reverence. His desire is not the enemy. It's a compass pointing toward his evolution. When he learns to channel that force rather than waste it, he becomes unstoppably a generator of influence, creativity, and peace. In the workplace, this transformation manifests as heightened leadership. Retained energy amplifies presence and decision-making. A man with controlled energy walks differently, speaks differently, and commands respect naturally. He doesn't compete, he radiates confidence from a calm center. Colleagues sense it, women feel it, and opportunities gravitate toward it. Retention thus becomes not just a spiritual act, but a practical advantage in a distracted world. The spiritual benefits, too, are profound. As retention deepens, the mind grows quieter. Meditation feels richer, intuition sharper. The man begins to experience synchronicities, moments where reality aligns with thought. His awareness expands, and his relationship with the divine becomes more intimate. What once felt like denial now feels like devotion. He realizes that retaining his seed is not about resisting life but honoring it. It is the discipline that unites the physical and the spiritual, the masculine and the sacred. Still, the modern environment tests him constantly. Temptation is everywhere. Flashing screens, half-dressed influencers, and cultural messages equating lust with success. To walk this path requires rebellion, not retreat. The man practicing retention becomes a silent revolutionary, one who no longer bends to the world's addictions. His power lies in restraint, his dominance in direction. Each day he chooses mastery over impulse. He strengthens his soul and restores balance to a hypersexualized society. In relationships, this inner mastery creates new depth. A woman feels safer with a man who governs himself. She senses his energy as stable, grounded, and protective, not possessive. Their intimacy becomes electric, not because of lust, but because of presence. He listens, observes, and connects beyond words. The bond that forms transcends the physical, it becomes energetic, emotional, and spiritual. Retention teaches love that nourishes, not drains. Ultimately, semen retention is not about denial, it's about remembrance. It reminds the modern man that his essence is sacred, his body a temple, and his energy divine. It's a call to rise above compulsive pleasure and rediscover purpose. To reclaim the wisdom of ancient warriors, yogis, and sages in a modern context. In a world obsessed with external validation, retention brings him back to the inner source. When he preserves his seed, he preserves his power. When he masters his desire, he masters his destiny. The modern man who embraces this ancient wisdom becomes a bridge between worlds, the physical and spiritual, the primal and the divine. He doesn't abandon pleasure, he redefines it. His fulfillment comes not from temporary highs, but from a sustained state of vitality, peace, and purpose. Semen retention, then, is not a relic of the past, it is the evolution of the future masculine. It's how the man of today honors the man of eternity, not by releasing his energy aimlessly, but by living as the embodiment of strength, balance, and sacred control. If you took a single ounce of value from this video, here's your next step. Like this video so we can reach more people, and subscribe to lock in your spot for our next level up session. You absolutely cannot miss what's coming next week. Tell me where you're watching from, it helps me connect with the global tribe we're building. For deep dives, personal growth insights, and direct interaction, join our Telegram channel link below. This message is too important to hoard. Share it now with a friend whose potential is still untapped. See you on the path to mastery.